Awesome. Aleah, good afternoon to you. Good morning from me. So good to catch up. I know we've been teeing this up for a little bit now. How are you today?
I'm good. I'm so good. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. My pleasure. I would love for you to please introduce yourself. Tell me a little bit about a title you'd like to go by and what it is exactly you do.
Yeah, sure. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Aleah Vassell. I am an actor, online business owner, and personal finance enthusiast, better known as Creative with Money.
Awesome. Awesome. It's a wide variety. How did you get inspired to go from acting to the money space? What kind of drove you on this journey?
Necessity, and definitely the pandemic. I got 2 theater degrees, and I was graduating with my second one in 2020 of May, and then the pandemic happened 2 months before. And I was trying to figure out, what does life look like without acting? Because theater was shut down, everything was shut down, and virtual assistants came into the space of, this is something that I know how to do. Let me just dive into it. So I had a lot of side hustles as administrative assistants, as this, as that. And in 2021, that's really when I got into my personal finance journey. I was like, I need to make more money. I need to pay off debt, this and that. And I took the tools that I had of virtual assistants, of acting, of being a people person, and built wealth. I quadrupled my income in 2022, going from $27,000 for the whole year in 2021 to $116,000 by the end of the year in 2022. And that's what inspired me to start Creative with Money.
Crazy. And I mean, even coming from a theater background, so many people believe it's purely a passion space. So it's so cool to see that, you can create the side hobbies, you can manage both. And obviously you might have had a little bit more time to do so during COVID with less theater work, but
Sure.
it's totally possible. And I guess that's what this new journey is all about, is trying to show others that it is possible. Is that a really fair summation at the very least?
Yeah, 100%. I think with the pandemic, not being able to do theater, I really had to see, who am I outside of my career, and just kind of question everything I had learned about making money, which was just be a theater actor, be a film actor, stay in the world of theater. And I had to get outside of my box in order to better myself. So I would definitely say it's just about seeing all of your talents and seeing what you really like to do and following through with that, because the money will come, if you're just passionate about what's going on.
So good. And I think that's the most important message for anything. Like, if you are passionate about what you're doing, it'll come back to you. Like, if you're putting the time into that passion, I'm like I literally created a reel about it yesterday. Like, if you're not
Yes.
like, if you're not following what you're meant to be doing and what your passion is, it's just staring at you as you walk on by. So really good. So I mean, you've already touched on the main challenge you've had to go overcome in that leap through the pandemic. Is there anything else that springs to mind when I say to you challenges, obstacles you've had to overcome during that period?
Yeah. I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer, but grief was a big one. In 2022 was when I started my virtual assistant business, in September. And then in November is when my dad passed. It was unexpected. It was sudden. He was a young, wonderful 63-year-old man. And I wanted to quit everything. I let go of all my virtual assistant clients. I had just gotten cast in a show and I was like, I can't do this right now. I honestly just like shut down from the world. And then I had to, feel my feelings, get through the grief, but I had to change my mindset. It was going through, how do I keep living? How do I keep doing all of these things when my dad was one of my biggest cheerleaders? To my dad would be upset if I stopped. Like, look at this momentum that I have. I need to keep going. I need to keep making him proud. I need to keep inspiring the people that are around me and in my community. So that's kind of hard. It still is, I take it day by day, but it when you have a person that is kind of like your rock, all of a sudden go away, grief can really just change every aspect of your life. And I think I had two choices. It was either quit, like I was on the verge of doing, or keep going. So I'm really happy that I kept going, because, you know, in 3 months I made a $5,000 month. Within 8 months after I kept going, I made an $8,000 month. Flash forward to last year, I made 6 figures in my business and my first $10,000 month. And none of that would have happened if I gave up once something really bad in my life went.
Well, I wanted to first hold the space and acknowledge your loss there. So thank you for obviously sharing that personal journey with us. And I think it is important to hear that for both listeners and readers, that it is important to, as you said, make sure you do march forward when you do go through that grief. Like, you know, hold the time to experience that, feel the feelings, and then, you know, also go on to realize that the passion, the journey that you are on is the right way you're meant to be, and to hop back on that train as soon as possible, and it'll all come back to you. So sometimes it's one foot in front of the other. I'm sure. Have you seen? I've mentioned it on one other interview, but the children's movie Sing. It's on Netflix.
Yes, I love Sing. I love that series.
That's literally it. And that one moment at the end with the elephant. I'm terrible with character names in every movie, but the elephant.
Yes.
Yeah, the elephant finally getting on stage, and Mr. Moon's like, you know, just sing, and all of the anxiety, everything will start to go away. But I think it's such a good metaphor for everything in life, like all of these imposter syndrome, the whole concept of just irrational fears, anxiety that we've just created over absolutely nothing. Like, if you just start doing that one thing that you're scared of, it'll just go away. Like,
yes, 100%. I have to make friends with my imposter syndrome. A lot of people are like, how do you deal with it? How do you deal with it? And it's like, I don't necessarily deal with it. Like, I make peace with it. I have just kind of been like, okay, this is not me. This is one version of me created by outside noise. Like, this is not my highest self, because my highest self would tell me to keep going. So anyways, I have given my imposter syndrome a name. Every time Miss Francesca pops up, I'm just like, okay, I hear you, but I'm not going to listen to you today. You can take a back seat. So yes.
You can have a rest, have some pina coladas on the beach somewhere. You're all good.
Let's just put you on vacation real quick.
Oh, good. I mean, then my next question is probably a silly one, because I feel like we've almost covered it. But what do you feel makes you unique, Aleah? Like, what is it that makes you stand out a little bit more than the other personal money coaches out there?
Sure. I think my greatest strength is, this is going to be silly to say, but creativity. I have been so conditioned to think outside the box that when it comes to coaching others, I feel like I have like a very strong insight of seeing what they're not seeing. And my main thing as a coach is just to hold up the mirror and like show you your best self, because there's all these things getting in the way that like don't allow you to be the creative person, be the loving person, be the caring person, the confident person that you are. And like, as a coach, that's what I want to do with my little mirror, is be like, you're not seeing what I'm seeing. Here's a path forward. Here's another. I love taking my outside of the box approach as an actor, as a virtual assistant, as an online business owner, as a content creator. The list goes on. And applying it to other people's lives of, okay, we're in your virtual assistant business, but like, what other gifts do you have? Is there a way to make this unique to you? Same thing with actors. I will reverse that of like, we are an actor, but what other gifts do you have in order to make more money? So I like to be the outside of the box eye.
So good. And, you know, it's so important, whether it's looking at that kind of almost like a characteristic level where you really look down and be like, okay, this is what you would be good at or could excel at or need to accentuate in whatever it is you're doing. So
yeah,
I'll totally resonate with that. So we've talked about the challenges. We've talked about where you've, what kind of your point of difference is.
mm-hmm.
I mean, you've already mentioned some of your biggest achievements there. I'm not sure if you just want to really hone in on, is it the financial achievements you would list as your biggest, or is it a client win? What would you kind of note as your biggest achievement so far?
I think this is going to be silly, but I think my biggest achievement is choosing myself. Because as an actor, as someone who studied acting for 7 years, you're taught to be everyone else's idea of who you should be. Like, as you're trying to get a role, you are playing a character. How do you make that person want to hire you? That is kind of the mindset that I had to flip on my own and be like, how can I make money that allows me to choose me? How do I show up with the gifts that I already have? That will then bring people into my world, and I don't necessarily have to wear a mask in order to do it. So I think choosing me is what brought me those 10K months. I think choosing me is what allowed me to pay off $37,000 of debt in 1 year. Like, I think every goal, every achievement that I had came from me choosing myself.
So good. And I never thought that way. You'd be taught just to keep adapting to someone else's mold, someone else's view. And I guess you might almost be able to concrete that, obviously the better actors out there are the ones that are able to keep their true self, obviously very, unique self, highly evident in the role, and just slightly adapt to that vision of the director or the producer, whoever's kind of steering it. So is that what you see as like someone on the inside of the industry? Is that where the better actors kind of shine?
I think it's a little, it's both of what we're saying, in the sense of the actors that don't take, what is the word that's coming, rejection. The actors that do not take rejection to heart and see it as a part of the gig. Because I used to just take it so personally, of like, oh, they don't like me, or oh, I'm not good for the role. And the thing is, I'd be great for the role. They just chose somebody else. So it's like, once you have that healthy detachment from your career, whether you're an artist, whether you're an engineer, whether you're this, whether you're that, like, once you really are like, okay, this is my career, but this is who I am as a person, a lot of things can unlock for you. But yes, I definitely do think it's like the actors that are very confident in who they are, can allow them to go deeper into being someone else.
So good. And I love that pivot that you just made as well, because I give friends, colleagues, clients the same advice if they're trying to shift careers, or even if they're not thinking about it. I was like, you should always just go and interview at 3-4 places a year, just to practice interviews, practice getting out of your comfort zone, practicing questions, and you have no pressure or anxiety around that interview. So if it goes really well and then they throw you an awesome offer, then that's life giving you, a new door to take. And vice versa, if it doesn't go well, you're not, you're so bought into yourself that doesn't matter. That outcome is insignificant. So
exactly.
Really cool. Thank you for bringing that one up too. Some really good gems so far. A line, I mean, I'm sure you've probably got plenty. A quote, an inspiration figure. Is there one that really springs to mind that's kind of helped you get from, even through the tough times, maybe from the pandemic to today? Is there anything that does spring to mind when I give you that hit?
Yes. One moment. I want to find it because I say it all the time. And it is from Audre Lorde. And essentially, it is her quote. Here it is. Okay. Caring for myself is not self-indulgence. It is self-preservation. And that is an act of political warfare. So it goes into choosing yourself, as in, like, Thinking outside of the box is an act of resistance in the best way because you are putting yourself first. So yes, that's my favorite quote in the world. It is my email signature. That's why I just pulled it up. But yeah.
The beautiful thing, I haven't had anyone double up on a quote yet, and not to ruin it later, I asked podcasts as well, but I haven't had anyone double up on podcast suggestions either. So really cool. It's infinite the amount of inspiration there is out there.
Mm-hmm.
Where to next? We've gotten so far in the last 5 years.
Yeah.
What does the next kind of 6-12 months, 5 years hold for you? Where's the bar set?
I think for me, since I've gotten to a place and I'm very comfortable with in my business, it is about now shaping my business around the life that I want to live. This is literally the advice that I give to all of my clients, whether I am virtual assisting for them or teaching them how to become virtual assistants. It's about building your dream life. And I am now at that space to be like, I can say yes wholeheartedly and I can say no wholeheartedly. So for this first half of the year, it's all theater. It's all artistic gigs, and then maintaining my business. And then for the second half of the year, instead of theater, I'm going to be focusing on film. And then I will come back to my business and see what's working, what's not, where do I want to go with it. But I've been so wealth building focused that this year is kind of the year of like, okay, well, what do I want to do now? I've hit all my big goals. Let me see where I want to go forward. And I'm just taking the whole year to enjoy every moment.
I love that. And don't be afraid to set the bar. Reach. I always say reach for the stars, because worst case you'll fall in the heavens. Like, just keep aiming high is my only add-on for you.
Yeah.
I envision seeing you down the red carpet and everything else. So keep going.
That's definitely on my list too. But I think when it comes to my business, I was like, okay, $20,000 months is next because I've now hit 10,000. When it comes to theater, I would love to have a leading role in a Shakespeare. Never had a role in Shakespeare, period. So I was like, shoot big. And then I would love to be in a feature film. It doesn't matter if it's a small part, doesn't matter if it's a big part. I'm ready. I'm ready to take film seriously and just be in the room.
Fuck yeah. Good job. Yeah. Excuse my passionate cursing, but
no problem. I'm the same.
Bring it into the world. Thank you for sharing kind of the more business side of it all. But as I give you a heads up, I love to do a bit of a fast finish. So just kind of blurt out whatever comes to mind, a bit more about that deeper version of yourself. So number one, what advice would you give to the younger version of you?
Oh gosh, don't listen to the noise. Stay true to yourself and stay consistent to yourself.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Teenage celebrity crush. Who did you have a poster on the wall?
Corbin Bleu with his little curly hair from High School Musical. I was like, I'm gonna marry that man. And he still looks good today. And
have you met him yet? Have you got lucky to meet him yet through your
I have not. But the fact that he is now doing Broadway instead of just film, I have a better chance of meeting him.
I'll be honest, I can't recall seeing him in anything since High School Musical. Now that you've brought it up, but
it's still been those kind of young audience shows. He was in like a jump rope movie after that. On Disney Channel. So yeah, I think it's, and then he was in Dancing with the Stars. So yeah, he's doing his own thing.
He's doing his own, and he's still getting a love from you, which is beautiful. Yeah.
Yep.
A favorite podcast, as I mentioned earlier, favorite podcast you listen to at the moment. It can be business related. It can be, day-to-day related, whatever it is.
I think my favorite podcast, would be Girls That Invest.
Okay, who's that one by? Do you know who?
Not off the top of my head. But she's absolutely wonderful. She's under 30 and she's a millionaire, and she talks about investing and just like living your best life.
Perfect. Well, I haven't had that one yet either. So you're keeping the rhythm. Perfect. Music genre. What gets you in the zone? Like whether it's at work, at gym. I don't know if you go different genres, different scenes, but what's it too?
It's been hyper pop lately. And then I'm so like embarrassed to say that because there's so much other music out there, but literally like Charlie XCX, Tovlo, Kesha, like hyper pop. Beyonce's award-winning album, Cowboy Carter. I've been getting a little bit into country because of Beyonce. So that's been nice too. But that's what you'd find on my playlist right now.
I feel like subtly a lot of people think Luke Combs has changed the country scene, but I think it's actually Beyonce that's converted people over. So I'm still not. See, I'm actually old school Taylor. I'm a Taylor country boy at heart. So I liked old school Taylor Swift. That was my I much prefer old school, and I'm not as into new age and new age country as much. But yeah, I do appreciate that. But I'm a big Kesha fan. Always have been a big Kesha fan. So I love that too. Yeah, she literally toured in Sydney, but there was no tickets, so I couldn't even see. I would have loved to have seen her live. Would have been unreal.
Yeah,
it would have been good vibe. Most important of all, ketchup or barbecue sauce?
Barbecue sauce.
Barbecue, nice.
That's the most important question you've asked me all day.
See, we don't really do ketchup in Australia. We do tomato sauce, which is like I don't know if you've tried it before, but it's a much like thinner consistency. It's not as like chunky.
Okay.
So it's very different and much more subtle. So I normally go tomato myself. Your time to plug. Where can readers listen? Where can they connect with you? Where can they listen and find out more about you?
Okay. My home would be Creative with Money on Instagram. If you're looking for virtual assistants, it is thrivingva.co on Instagram. I've also got Creative with Money on TikTok and Threads. So those are just the basic places that you'll find me. If you're looking for more actor work, you can just find me at my personal website, www.com, AleahVassell.com. AleahVassell.com.
Well, thank you, Aleah. It's been total pleasure kind of going through the journey. Plenty of good little nuggets to take away from this. So thanks so much, and really look forward to putting this out to the audience.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. This was so much fun.
We'll piece it together soon. Thanks, Aleah.
Love you. Oh my gosh.